Welcome to Football Podcast with Brandon White
and Thackrey Robert.
That's a new co-host. I replaced Thackrey.
Kevin Vickman and CJ Spiller.
That's us.
This week we're doing week 3. Last week was kind of interesting. Just wanted to, before we do all this, plug our YouTube stuff. We're on YouTube as Towers Underground. We've done it at the end of each podcast, but at the end of each podcast, we flip a coin. We have like a favored Madden matchup of the week that we play on the YouTube channel. Kind of go back and forth and see what we're going to simulate, quote-unquote, a light, quote-unquote,
Fellatio.
The game.
We're going to simulate fellatio.
So go and check that out. It's kind of like a companion video portion to this that we're doing. If you like us dicking around the way we do here, we do it here, except you got video and other things to watch while we're doing it, and you get to watch Brandon lose in football, so that's always fun.
I am 1-1 in Madden matchup right now. For the record.
You have a 1-game losing streak.
It's the difference between vodka and beer, it seems.
So yeah, last week was really interesting. I felt like everybody moved closer to the mean, like I was thinking they would. Not a lot of like crazy matchups, like the Jaguars going out and like blowing out the Texans. The only really big thing that I saw that was completely unexpected was the way the Broncos beat the Cowboys. Like, Broncos beat the Cowboys. It's something that we both predicted and expected, but we didn't expect them to beat them the way they beat them. And I didn't expect the Eagles to hang around in that Chiefs game at all. Like, they hung in there, and I really did feel like the Chiefs were not the best team out there on that field on Sunday. So I think that's really,
I was impressed by the Eagles' performance. I'm still not taking anything away from the Chiefs.
Oh no,
you all definitely. You hung in there in much the same way that they hung in there with when they beat the Patriots.
Like, they didn't hang in there. They laid a whooping on them in that second half.
When I'm saying they, I mean the Patriots. Like when they played the Patriots, like the way the Patriots hung in there against the Chiefs. Like that's how you all hung in there against the Chiefs. Which that says multiple things. The Chiefs are still legit, but it shows some great promise for the Eagles this year. And I'm starting to think that maybe you are right. Maybe the division could really fall to the Eagles this year. There's still a lot of football to be played, but after that...
14 weeks to be exact.
Yeah, 15 weeks actually.
15 weeks to be exact.
Yeah. Now, after the sad showing that the Cowboys had against the Broncos, who I am a believer and a fearer of because I do believe in Trevor Siemian. I've been saying this. It's on the record in multiple formats. And Trevor Siemian came out and played a hell of a ball game and made the Cowboys' defense look as bad as we knew they were. But the fact that the front seven of the Broncos was just able to shut Zeke down completely, I think that goes to show that the defense of the Broncos is back to like that Super Bowl winning team, and Trevor Siemian played as good or better than Peyton Manning played that year too.
When they won the Super Bowl, yeah, because Peyton wasn't playing at
he wasn't like an all-pro level at that point.
Yeah,
like he was a shell of his former self.
He was an average quarterback. Yeah. That's all you really need.
Yeah, Siemian playing better than that with that defense. That scares me because I was concerned about the Chiefs winning the division. The Broncos are a legitimate threat this year.
The Colts could possibly be the worst team in the league.
Yeah.
I do think they are, but I think it's up for debate between them, the Jets, the 49ers, and maybe the Browns.
Yeah, there's a lot to debate there.
I'm convinced, without Andrew Luck, the Colts are 100% the worst team in the league. The Cardinals could be a bottom 5 team with Carson Palmer and with Larry Fitzgerald now that David Johnson's out. They just can't get anything.
I'm less surprised by that.
Anything going. Dolphins came out and beat the Chargers, and the Chargers have lost 2 games on 2 field goals at the end of the game, which is just Chargers things, it seems. Phillip Rivers the Chargers seem to find a way to fuck Phillip Rivers each year in and year out. He just can't catch a break.
That's why he keeps fucking his wife and making children.
Feel bad for him. 49ers hung in there with the Seahawks, which was interesting. I don't know if it's the Fortiners hung in there.
It's just like the NFC West thing.
Or if just the Seahawks just played down to them.
I mean, you saw that video I showed you actually before recording of the front seven of the 49ers, like, just destroying the Seahawks O-line. Like, the pocket literally collapsed. Like, the entire offensive line all fell down. They were all on the ground.
Yeah, it looked like the Seahawks O-line was on one of those, like, like boards that people are on when they like slide back and forth in that like weird like gymnastics kind of thing. Like one of those like slidey boards that they like. They all just
the balance beam.
Yeah. They all just slid to the left and then fell.
I thought of it. I thought it was looked like at the carnivals where you have those guns that shoot the corks and like the cardboard things fall over.
Yeah, that's
what they look like.
They just completely fell over.
Yeah, it was really bad. The Seahawks offensive line is just awful. It's probably the only one that's worse than the Giants O-line.
And who would have thought that the Vikings without Sam Bradford would be that much worse?
If I had known, I said this, if I had known that Bradford would be out, I would have picked the Steelers for sure, because I'm a Bradford believer. But it speaks volumes to just how much that offense runs through Bradford, how good he is, because that defense, as good as it is, the defense was like constantly on the field. They couldn't deal with the Steelers like for 4 quarters without the offense doing something. 3 field goals was the best the Vikings could put out.
Dalvin Cook up until like the 4th quarter had like 5 or 6 yards. He didn't have a good game at all. They weren't able to get anything going. And the Panthers were only able to put 9 points up on the Bills, which is surprising, kind of.
That's concerning. It's concerning for the Panthers. We were discussing this earlier too. I was saying that it could be a coaching issue. You were saying that it's a Cam Newton issue.
I sound like a Cam Newton hater the more that we talk about the Panthers.
I'm not. Look.
I don't hate Cam Newton. I just don't think he's a good quarterback.
I am now Stephen A. Smith in this relationship. Take that how you will.
Your forehead's not big enough, but okay. No, now it's big enough.
Yeah, there you
go. Okay.
Titans. So that was an interesting one because the Jaguars came out, looked fierce week 1, and the Titans got fairly convincingly beat by the Raiders. And I was like, are the Titans not as good as we thought?
No, the Titans are good. The Raiders are just better.
That's just when it comes down to it. We see them against the Jaguars, and they just beat the brakes off of them. So that's very interesting. AFC South still probably belongs to the Titans. So some interesting things.
But yeah, we did this last season, week 2, or going into week 3 after the 2 games. We're going to go and predict 1 2-0 team that we don't think is going to make the playoffs and 1 0-2 team that's going to make the playoffs. So just for stats' sake, 2-0 teams since 2007, and I know it's an arbitrary year.
It's 10 years ago, so.
So 48% have made the playoffs. Currently, the 2-0 teams are the Broncos, the Raiders, the Chiefs, the Ravens, the Steelers, the Lions, and the Falcons and the Panthers. Funny thing is, only 3 NFC teams 2-0.
Without even looking at which Raiders squad that is, I know it's the Jason Campbell year, the one that we traded for Carson Palmer after he broke his collarbone.
No, I'm saying that the 2-0 teams this year are these teams, and since 2007, 48% of the teams that have started 2-0 have made the playoffs.
Oh,
so
that is not the team.
That's less than 50%, just slightly. So if you had to pick a team
to not make the playoffs, it's to not make the playoffs. So we were one of those squads. Like that Jason Campbell squad started like that was one of the teams that was 2-0 and didn't make the playoffs.
Regardless,
out
of the 2-0 teams that are currently 2-0 here, do you have any ones that you think won't make the playoffs, or like that you have pegged as like specifically pretenders?
This is an interesting one. I'm going to have to looking at this. The Panthers are the most obvious one. It gets really dicey though because you have the Broncos, the Raiders, and the Chiefs all in the same division, all 2-0, all look like they can make the playoffs. It's very, very likely that that's the case, which means that either the Steelers or the Ravens isn't making the playoffs. But the Panthers are the most obvious one, so I think for the sake of the easy pick, the Panthers are the one for me.
Yeah, out of the 2-0 teams that aren't going to make the playoffs, I think the Panthers are an easy one. They've played 2 really weak teams, the same way the Eagles were 2-0 last year, and they played 2 really weak teams. They beat up on the Bears and the Browns in the first 2 weeks. Same way that the Panthers have beat up on the Bills and the 49ers. So I think they're going to fall back towards the mean this year. But just to go out on a limb, personally, I think that the Lions won't make it.
That NFC North is going to be interesting for sure because the Packers look legit, but injuries are already affecting them. I mean,
Same thing with the Vikings too.
The same thing with the Vikings, which means that the Lions have a puncher's chance of winning that division.
Yeah, so.
Depending on how this goes. Like if Jordy, is hurt for an extended period of time, like that significantly like once Jordy was out, like Aaron Rodgers' offense. I mean, he was still getting the ball around, but the Falcons had it in hand by that point. Like it was done.
Yeah. Lions might not make it, and the Ravens are probably the other ones that are that.
Yeah. Ravens and Panthers are my two definite won't make it out of that whole bunch unless Ben Roethlisberger gets hurt. In which case, then the Steelers could be.
Ben's gonna get hurt. It depends on if he's gonna get hurt for an extended period of time. He always misses games.
Yeah. So that there's a lot to. The Panthers are just like the lock on that one. Like that's the safest pick.
So since 2007, 9.2% of teams to start 0-2 have made the playoffs. Teams like the 07 Giants made it. I think the 08 Chargers made it. A couple other teams, but significantly lower chance of teams to start 0-2 have made it. That means that there could be a team or two to come out of here that could make it. Currently, 0-2 teams are, the usual suspects: Browns, Jets, Bears, Bills. But you have some other teams that are surprising: Giants, Chargers, Bengals, Colts, and Saints. So out of that roundup there that I did, what's the one or two teams that you think that can make the playoffs out of these 0-2 teams?
It's a really tough one because all of those two teams belong.
Look terrible.
Yeah, they belong in the 0-2 category. Like the only ones that I could even see sneaking in any way, shape, or form right now would be the Chargers or the Saints. And the Saints' defense is absolutely terrible. Again, it would be, can Drew Brees carry them? But in the division that they're in the conference that they're in the league that they're in, they would have to overcome a strong Falcons and Buccaneers team. The Panthers are 0-2, but that'll stop happening. They'll have divisional games, and they'll probably lose half of them at least. The Giants, we've seen like their offense looks terrible. Their defense can't carry them. It can't. The Bills are who they are. The Jets are who they are. They actually managed to put up 20 points on the Raiders, which I think surprised the entire world, including Las Vegas, to a degree. The Browns, they're probably the team you'll pick just because you're like fucking ridiculous. God, dude, I don't know. I guess I'm gonna go with the Saints.
Yeah, I think the Saints are probably one of the easier picks here. The last five that I listed are definitely more ready than the first four. The last five being the Chargers, the Giants, the Bengals, the Colts, and the Saints. Giants have issues on their O-line, and their defense, like you said, can't carry them. Eli doesn't look anywhere near even average this year, and ODB is hurt. Brandon Marshall and Sterling Shepard aren't getting it done, and they have the fewest rushing attempts out of all teams in the NFL right now. Like you said, with the Bengals and the Dolphins playing one game.
Here's your fun stat of the day. No team that Brandon Marshall has been on has made the playoffs.
Denver Brandon Marshall would like to disagree with you.
That is true. But, by like borderline personality disorder Brandon Marshall, his teams don't make the playoffs.
So yeah, I mean, just in the NFC East, because anything can happen. Like the Giants always have a chance. The Chargers, just because of the conference that they're in, and worse for them, the division that they're in with the Broncos, the Chiefs, and the Raiders, basically don't have a chance. I think they're the best team here that's 0-2, but they don't have a chance to make the playoffs if you're looking at it from like a long-term perspective.
Yeah, just the division pretty much excludes them.
The Bengals shouldn't be here, but they're surprisingly underperforming, just like all Marvin Lewis teams seem to do.
I think this is the year. I actually wonder how many more games he loses before he might actually get the axe.
They fired their offensive coordinator, and I don't think it's his fault. I don't
think it is. I mean, Andy Dalton has been playing like shit, but they've had the same offensive coordinator for years. So
yeah. The Colts, if they get Andrew Luck back, if it was like the AFC South of like 5 years ago, they get in just because like they have to. The AFC South has to have a division team, has to have a playoff team, but it's looking like he's not going to be back for 5 or 6 more weeks.
I retract my statement. The offensive coordinator they fired was their offensive coordinator last year, but Hugh Jackson was the coordinator before that. before he went to the Browns. So I retract that statement. So maybe that is a problem because the Bengals did underperform last year as well. But I'm also going to throw this out there. Ever since they let Mohamed Sanu go, their offense has been worse. And I've always been high on Mohamed Sanu, and he's looked fantastic in Atlanta.
Yeah, Brandon LaFell just isn't doing it for him.
Yeah, he's just not enough, and anyone could have seen that coming.
Yeah, so the Colts starting Jacoby Brissett, not one of the best 32 quarterbacks in the NFL. Colin cough, Kaepernick cough.
By the way, the Bengals apparently, their locker room after the last game was quote-unquote a near mutiny, with some players saying they would rather have Colin Kaepernick than Andy Dalton.
I don't know about that. Andy Dalton at his best is way better than Colin Kaepernick.
Yeah, I know, but the fact that the players would even go to that extent is much more intriguing to me. Like,
hot button. Hot take.
Yeah, like, could Colin Kaepernick be on his way? And what does that mean for A.J. McCarron, who's one of the better backups in the league? Find out on Football Podcast.
The Saints have Drew Brees and basically nothing else, so that's kind of sad. So, I mean, out of the teams that are 0-2, like, the Colts, maybe they didn't look as bad as they did with Jacoby Brissett at the helm as Scott Tolzien. But, I mean, you really don't see... There's not much here that's good. There's a reason why all these teams are 0-2. So, out of these teams, like, the Chargers have the best chance, but unfortunately... They're the best team, but they don't have the best chance. The Colts probably have the best chance, with the Giants being just behind them, I think, just because the NFC East might not be as good as everybody thought it would be this year.
This is true. If you look around, I think the NFC South, if any division sends multiple teams, it's going to be the NFC South.
Yeah, that would make sense. So going into our predictions, just to recap, Week 2, Brandon was a resounding 14-2. I think this might be the best record that he had since we've been doing this.
I was a Sam Bradford knee away from 15-1, I say.
I was a respectable 12-4, and Dave Damashek was at 11-5.
Now we singled Dave Damashek out because last year we were beating Dave Damashek until week 17, and we started getting cute with our predictions and picked a bunch of silly shit, as you remember, listeners, and Damashek passed us to finish the season. Well, right now, we decided we would look at Dave Damashek and see where we stand compared to him. We're going to continue competing with him. We're going to build this rivalry. I'm going to hit up Damashek on Twitter and Instagram, let him know that he is officially, he is on notice. We are coming for Damashek. Don't even get me started on the CBS crew.
Yeah, CBS crew, nobody was, we had a couple of people that were positive. The only person that was close to us was Jamie Eisenberg at 11-5, but still one game below.
Same thing, twice in a row. Jamie Eisenberg was really good last week, too.
Yeah, Jamie Eisenberg might be the truth. He might have the sauce.
Yeah.
So that overall brings us, Brandon to 23-8, me to 21-12, and then Damashek to 20-11.
He's creeping up on you, and you're creeping up on me.
Everybody likes to creep on somebody.
Hell yeah.
Fantasy, just a quick touch in. I'm 2-0. Brandon lost his week last week because Greg Olson decided he needed to go back to Miami to continue to be Dexter Morgan.
Yeah.
The Bay Harbor Butcher has returned, guys.
I was literally one Greg Olson injury away from winning fantasy last week. I had Kobe Fleener on my bench. If I had started him instead, I would have won the week. That's how close it was.
Yeah, but nobody would have told you to start Kobe Fleener over Greg Olson.
No one with any common sense would do that.
Starting off the week, Thursday games, 8:25, Rams at 49ers. Early versions of this script had the Rams 2-0. Much to my chagrin, they are not. They're 1-1. 49ers are 0-2, but actually putting up a decent game against the Seahawks last week.
Carrying on the tradition of Thursday night games being awful, by the way.
And yeah, the Rams surprisingly made a game of the Redskins game last week and then put it to the Colts last week. So I really don't know where we stand on the Rams right now. They're definitely better. I think that's to be said right off the bat.
I think Jared Goff may be what people thought he was, and now that they've kind of built a team around him, it's worth noting. But Sammy Watkins also thinks the earth is flat, so anything is possible.
Sammy Watkins probably isn't the smartest player.
He doesn't look like the smartest person ever.
Well, it's interesting because it's a matchup of two first team coaches or first year coaches,
both named Sean.
McVay and Kyle.
Oh wait,
Shanahan.
that's right. They got Shanahan. I'm an
Yeah,
idiot.
I was like, Sean McDermott. He plays for he coaches for the Bills.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
Hey, look, now we've both fucked up. Now we're even.
both of them coordinated for the Redskins, though. If you wanted to go for an actual link that they had,
Oh man, a terrible franchise sent its coordinators to go be terrible in a terrible division. Although, based on everything I'm seeing thus far, I think this one's probably a cut and dry one. I don't believe in the 49ers. They don't really have a whole lot going on. Jared Goff is actually starting to look like the Jared Goff that people were scouting in college. Now that he's got a team around him, the front seven of the Rams is pretty nasty. And I think that if the weapons that Jared Goff has develops, and if Sammy Watkins can actually play worth a damn,
yeah,
then, I don't see the 49ers being able to do much to them, honestly.
yeah. Connor Kupp, the rookie wide receiver they picked up in the draft, actually looks halfway decent. Sammy Watkins can do anything that's fine. They were able to get Todd Gurley going last week, more in the pass game than the run game, surprisingly. Hoyer the Destroyer can't do it on his own. Like, that's really what it comes down to.
Yeah,
he can't do it on his own. Carlos Hyde looks
Pedestrian.
Okay. And that defense isn't really anything to talk about. This is a team, obviously, in a real rebuild with the 49ers. This isn't a game that they're probably going to win. The Rams are a better team. They're an improved team than what was put out last year. And last year, they should have beat the 49ers both times.
Do you think Shanahan's a Sam Darnold or a Lamar Jackson?
I don't think Darnold's coming out as much as I.
Yeah, everyone's saying he's going to stay, and he probably needs to because USC didn't look that great.
Look good at all this year. I think he's more of a Lamar Jackson, and Lamar Jackson in that
Clemson game. Granted, Clemson's D line is basically an NFL D line.
Clemson, like those teams, like Clemson and Alabama, Ohio State, are basically NFL teams.
I was watching the Packers Falcons game, and there were so many Clemson players between those teams. It was nuts.
But yeah, I mean, Rams should have beat the 49ers 2 times last year. They would have if they wouldn't have got shut out by Chip Kelly's team in the first week. Rams are the better team. West Coast offense fits Jared Goff better.
Yeah.
They've got better pieces. I think this is pretty cut and dry.
Yep, definitely. Rams going to win that one.
Is this the London game? 9:30, Ravens at Jaguars?
Yes, it is.
My God, we're doing this already. I hate this. I hate London games. I hate them so much.
It's funny because the NFL's pushing for the Jaguars to be the London team because
I don't care about them.
London Jaguars just fits perfectly.
It works, and the gold is fun because England or something, but there are more Patriots fans per capita in England than there are anything else. That's what gets nationally televised for the Super Bowl. So obviously people would be Patriots fans. So put the fucking Patriots over there for all I give a shit.
Tell me about it.
Take a home game away from them.
Yeah.
Shit.
Don't get me started on that. Don't even get me started because they're already pushing that Mexico City bullshit too.
Well, maybe not anymore.
Yes, we'll talk about that later. So this one's going to be.
This might be a game of two. Kind of stout defense. The Ravens' defense is good. I think that's definitely one of those things where Ravens' defense.
The Jaguars are now being coached and run by an organization that focuses heavily on defense. You got Tom Coughlin as their GM, essentially.
Doug Marrone, I think, is
Doug Marrone is their head coach.
Yeah.
The defense play, you had Gus Bradley, who was supposed to be a great defensive mind, absolutely shit the bed as their head coach. The defense looks so much better now under Doug Marrone, and the offense was semi-competent until Blake Bortles remembered who he was.
He got a call from James Earl Jones in the sky and decided to regress from a Jaguar to a Simba.
Yeah, I think I didn't watch that game, but if I had to guess what happened, I'm going to assume that they kind of keyed in on Leonard Fournette because they were like,
all they're going to do is
run.
Bortles
isn't going to be able to actually do anything. You make it a one-dimensional game if you force him to pass. The same thing that happened in the Cowboys game. If you just shut down Zeke and force Dak to pass, it's gonna win.
We'll get to Zeke once we get to the Cowboys.
Oh yeah, I know you're going to go in. We're going to have to save time just for that. But I think that's basically what happened here. Is they keyed in on Leonard Fournette, and Blake Bortles is not going to win you any football games. So these are two teams that could be pretenders. Jaguars more likely to be pretenders at this point. But, we could learn something. The Ravens' offense has been really, really, really bad. Really bad. It's not great.
It's been serviceable.
It's been bad.
They haven't had anybody to pass to. A lot of their offense is going through like running backs.
Yeah.
Like Javorius Allen, who was like complete no-name before last week, completely blew up. So I mean, a lot of their offense, now that Danny Woodhead is gone, is still going through running backs, and they don't have any...
Yeah, Woodhead's on IR again.
Yeah, Brashad Perriman, like, complete bust, more than likely. They don't have anybody else at the wide receiver position. Jeremy Maclin is doing his best ghost impersonation. He hasn't done anything since he left the Eagles in 2014, 13, somewhere in that area. So, I mean, they have nobody on the outside, and Joe Flacco, for all his Super Bowl winning talent, can't pass it to nobody.
Right. I mean, ultimately, if they're going to lean on their running game for this, I think the Jaguars' defense is going to give them problems, and this could be a game that the Jaguars sneak a win. However, the Ravens' defense has been playing really, really good.
Yeah.
And that's most of the reason they're 2-0. And that Jaguars' offense was pretty impotent last week.
They made Andy Dalton look bad, and granted, we don't know exactly what Andy Dalton looks like anymore. Like, that Bengals team could be terrible.
Have you seen him? He is a horrendous-looking man.
I'll take Carson, my ginger, over Andy any day.
Yeah, those eyebrows just really mess me. Anyways, so realistically, what's going to happen here is the Ravens are going to see what happened last week. What the Titans' game plan was, they're probably going to shut down the run game again. They're going to force Blake Bortles to pass, which he does not do well, and that's weird because that's most of what his job is.
It's a huge part of his job description.
Yeah,
is like throw the ball to people who can catch the ball.
Yeah, I mean, I'm already of the belief that Blake Bortles is going to be a Cardinal next year. So, like, I'm giving this one to the Ravens for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you're looking at it, and I was like, well, both these defenses can probably shut down these offenses, but, like, with what the Titans were doing, like you're saying to the Jaguars, like, the Ravens are probably going to have, like, 2 or 3 pick sixes at this point, because, like, Bortles basically hands the ball to one of the defenders and says, okay, now we're gonna see who can make it to the end zone.
Bortles
fastest.
is going to have the highest completion percentage in the league this year. It just might not be to his own team.
Yeah. So I'm going to go with the Ravens as well. I think it's going to be a harder fought contest than most people will think it is, but the Ravens defense is going to be what anchors them. Absolutely. And it's probably going to get it's probably going to get out of hand as late, like 28-13, of that kind of a game.
Exactly.
Next up, starting off the 1 o'clock games, since we're going back to the good old US of A, Browns at Colts.
The game that nobody wants to watch, but we're this is going to be televised here, and we can do nothing about it.
Oh, I'm so happy about this game. Browns are going to get their first win, guys. They're going to do it.
So
Miles Garrett. Miles Jack is a Jaguar. Miles Garrett has yet to actually get a snap, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You got Joe Thomas out there, 10,000 snaps. He's going to be out there. He's going to provide them some consistency. Deshaun Kaiser, I don't know what he's doing. Former Golden Domer.
I think he knows what he's doing.
Isaiah Crowell, he's doing pretty okay.
Deshaun Kaiser didn't look that good last week.
Corey Coleman broke his hand. It doesn't matter. We don't need him. Duke Johnson converted to a slot receiver, no longer a running back. Awesome. Cool. Gonna catch some passes.
We're gonna learn a lot about these two teams from this game. This is becoming my trademark phrase, I think, this year. But we're gonna learn a lot about these two teams here.
I've never been so happy to talk about the Browns.
So here's the deal. The Browns, Vegas has the Browns favored to win this game. Now, typically, when you have a close matchup, the home team is favored by 3.5 points. That's typically how it goes. The Browns are favored at the Colts. So the Colts are so bad that Vegas is just... I don't know if they're trying to trick people into betting on the Browns, because the Colts theoretically are better. Theoretically. They still do have more weapons on offense. Their defense is suspect as hell. Their O-line is suspect as hell. The Browns are the Browns. Like, this is chaotic. I almost want to just go ahead and flip the coin for this one, because I don't know who I'm going to pick. I almost want to say tie.
I mean, if you want to say tie, go for it. But
what happens if I say tie? If it's not a tie, do I get like half a win, half a loss? How does that work?
No, you get an L.
I just get an L?
Yeah.
Like, that's not cool.
You stand by your decision.
Yeah, but I mean, like, then if it's a tie, like, what do you get, half a loss? Like, that's not fair either.
We get a tie.
We get a tie.
Browns. I'm going to go with the Browns. The Colts are awful. Jacoby Brissett isn't the truth. He's not the sauce. He doesn't have it. He may be able to do something like the Colts were able to move up and down the field on a Cardinals team that we don't know could have just completely fallen off and just couldn't do anything against the Rams.
I'm going to take.
I said, this is going to be really telling. But I think the Browns are the better team, and I think they're the better team by more than a slight margin.
Well,
by 7 at least.
Jacoby Brissett's had a little bit more time in that offense, and so practice against at least the shell of a good team. I'm going to say between T.Y. Hilton, Dante Moncrief, and Frank Gore, they find a way to get something done, and it may only be like a 9-6 win, but the Colts win this game at home.
Nah, man. Browns are on their way to 5-11. 1 p.m. This is actually going to be the Towers Underground YouTube Madam matchup. This is what you're going to see us play going up later in the week.
Yep, the Twitter poll has spoken, and this is the matchup that won. So
yeah, if you guys want to have a voice in saying what we're going to pick, because we completely leave it up to Twitter.
Wait, did we count? Well, apparently there were like Instagram votes too.
No, Instagram votes don't count.
Yeah, if you're doing it on Instagram, you need to go to Twitter to the actual poll.
Yeah.
So sorry, we don't want to like disenfranchise you, but yeah, there were actually
somebody voted for Ravens at Steelers. They don't play this week. I'm sorry, whoever voted for Ravens at Steelers.
There were a bunch of comments on here from it.
But yeah, Giants at Eagles. We're gonna actually flip a coin to see who gets to be who. And then you'll get to see us play it, and then hopefully we'll get close to what the game will be. Giants came out and they've looked terrible. Like, we've talked a little bit about the Giants, a little bit about the Eagles, a little bit more about the Giants this episode. But I mean, they've got.
I don't have much to say about this one. I already know who I'm picking.
I'm fly motherfucking Eagles fly, because with the Eagles front seven that was able to just
your defense is going to destroy their O-line.
It's not going to be great. I mean, we were able to get Alex Smith on the ground more than a couple times.
If Odell's still hobbled and you blitz, Eli's done.
It's not even going to be.
I mean,
like, this is a division game.
Eli is down in the sewers with Pennywise right now. That doesn't make sense to you? Check out our Instagram and you'll find out.
Yeah, I mean, the Giants just have turnstiles for offensive linemen, and I've said this multiple times. They've got turnstiles for offensive linemen. It doesn't matter if he's got the Alex Smith release, he's got the Aaron Rodgers release. Like, you got to have people to catch the ball. This is a division game, so it's going to be closer than what people think, but I wouldn't surprise me if the Eagles came out and won this 27-13. Because, I mean, this is good stuff that's going to happen. Eli does not play well at the Eagles. He threw 3 picks last year at the game that I was at, which was week 16, where the Eagles actually beat him, and Malcolm Jenkins took the ball back on 2 pick sixes. So I think we're going to have a similar type game to where, like, the Eagles probably won't get much of anything offensively going, because the Giants' defense is still pretty good, and the Eagles' offense, for whatever reason, still continues to be fairly inept, and Carson Wentz is throwing 35, 40 times a game, which he does not need to be doing.
No.
But Eli is good. Like, okay, I've got 6 players that I need to get an interception. It's Ed Reed, Troy Polamalu, like Aqib Talib, Chris Harris, like oh my god, I think it's somebody else, like Ray Lewis and Eli Manning. Who do you pick? The answer is Eli Manning. Eli Manning is in clutch time. Is going to give you that interception.
It's like fourth quarter, like a minute left. Who do you trust to get a game-winning interception? It's Eli Manning every time. Yeah.
So Giants fall to 0-3, and I really don't know what's going on down in New York. It's like they need to figure something out.
It's not good. Ben McAdoo looks like somebody who kisses his children on the mouth. Like Ben McAdoo looks like the kind of person that wears a jean shirt with his jean pants or shorts.
Giants last year weren't that great. I think they were 11-5, but they won most of their games by less than an 8-point margin. And the year before that, the year that Tom Coughlin got fired, they lost most of their games by less than an 8-point margin. So they're just falling back towards the mean. Same thing happened to the Eagles. They were 9-7, and all of the games except for one that they lost were by less than an 8-point margin. So they're going to win some games that they didn't win last year, and this is going to be one of them.
If you made a Venn diagram for Ben McAdoo, the blue side would be KKK rallies, the red side would be child molesters, and the whole thing would be purple.
So we're both on the Eagles.
Yeah. Fly, Eagles, fly. I'll give you that one.
Dolphins at Jets. What do you got?
Well, this is one of those.
You were high on the Dolphins last week.
Yeah.
Not in the Madden matchup, but in the football podcast,
Look,
you were a Dolphins believer.
I would have. We're not talking about that game. I'm a Dolphins believer. I'll tell you what, this Jay Cutler guy, smoking Jay Cutler, that's what they call him. 1 cigarette, 2 cigarette, 3 cigarettes. He'll smoke the whole pack out on their field, just like he'll smoke your defense. If there's one thing I know about Jay Cutler, he's going to go out there, he's going to sling the ball, he's going to win you some football games. They're playing the Jets. What do you think I'm going to say?
Yeah, Dolphins against other people might have been interesting, but like they're playing the Jets. They came out, and despite them winning the game basically on Young Ho's leg, they still had to put up the points and get to the point where that was in question. So,
and I want to clarify real quick because I keep saying this and you're saying it. I know it's Young Wei. But there's no fucking way that we at Towers Underground are not going to call him Young Ho.
I had no idea his name was Young Wei. I was just calling him Young Ho because that's fucking awesome.
It's great, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, Young Ho missed those field goals. I mean,
what are you going to do?
Yeah, what are you going to do?
First one wasn't his fault. Second one probably got in his head.
He's still better than Roberto Aguayo.
He's still better than Billy Cundiff.
Yeah. So, I mean, the Jets, they were able to put up 20 points against the Raiders. Granted, the refs were being really... The refs did that thing where, like, the first half they picked one team, and then the second half they picked the other team, because, like, the Raiders were getting dicked in the first half by the refs, but in the second half, the Jets were getting dicked. Like, Vegas was like, all right, back it off, guys, back it off. And, I mean, let's face it, our secondary is just fucking weird enough that Josh McCown could actually throw, or Luke... I don't even... Which McCown do they have? It's
the Lundgren McCown.
It's Luke, yeah?
No, it's Josh.
It's Josh. Okay, I was right the first time.
It's the Lundgren McCown.
Yeah, Josh McCown's able to go out there and is Luke back with the Saints?
Yes,
it's back up. Okay. Yeah, Josh McCown can actually go out there and like throw some touchdowns or whatever he's gonna do. But the Dolphins team, this is a divisional matchup. The Dolphins team is stacked. You're not as big of a believer in them as I am. But I actually am one of the people that thinks that Jay Cutler was an upgrade over Ryan Tannehill. I think
it's a wash. Jay Cutler may be slightly better.
Yeah, it's just enough to make a difference.
It's percentage points, in my opinion.
That's... Yeah. I don't know. Whatever. Dolphins are going to win this game.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be very close. No. Jets may make a game of it, but Dolphins may win.
I'll say, 24-13.
I was going to say 30-14.
30-14?
Yeah,
I originally was going to say 30-13, but then I was like, I'll back it up a little bit.
Broncos at Bills. Bills, surprisingly, were only able to put up 3 points against the Panthers, and the Panthers were only able to put up 9 points. So I don't know if these guys are just inept or what. Like, Shady had, 24 yards, total.
Just remember that the front seven of the Panthers is a strength. So, Shady isn't going to run all over that part.
Well, guess what? Guess who they're playing this week?
Exactly. I'm teetering on the edge of this being my lock. The only reason this, I'm not sure is because the next two matchups we'll discuss. But I'm a Broncos believer. I hate the Broncos, but at the same time, that front seven is dirty as hell. That secondary, if a part of your defense gets a name, it's legit. Like, if you had the Purple People Eaters, which was just an entire defense. You had the Steel Curtain. You have the Legion of Boom. Now you have the No-Fly Zone. All right. What are the Bills going to do to the No-Fly? I don't even know what they need to name their front seven, too, because they're fucking disgusting. Then Trevor Siemian, I'm a believer. I've been saying it. People doubted him. I didn't.
They're disgusting without Shane Ray.
Yeah. C.J. Anderson being healthy, granted, that's a big part. Broncos could have been a playoff team last year if he had been healthy. It's definitely possible they could have been. But Trevor Siemian actually went out there slaying. He did do some stupid shit. He threw an interception. He had a fumble. But still led that offense. Looked like Peyton Manning's bastard child, too. There is no...
Trevor Snow.
Yeah, he is Trevor
of the
Snow.
House of Stark.
We're going to find later that he's supposed to be a sand. But whatever. But in all honesty, there's not really any scenario I can see the Broncos losing this game. The Broncos are going to be 3-0.
Yeah, Trevor Targaryen's gonna light him up.
Absolutely.
Shady's not going to do anything, and I just feel bad for him. Like, he's just stuck on a tanking team now.
Yeah,
him and Tyrod just...
You all should have just got him. I almost think he would have taken a discount to come to you all.
Should have traded all our picks away. Every single one of them. That's neither here nor there.
Yeah.
Saints 0-2 at the Panthers 2-0. I'm actually going to call this my upset, which is probably going to be the...
Wait, are you saying the Saints are the upset win, or the Panthers are the upset win?
Saints are the upset
Okay,
win.
I was going to say, I'm picking the Panthers here, too.
No, I'm picking the Saints.
I'm going to go with the Saints here, too, because
Okay.
I don't know what's going on with the Panthers. I like the Panthers. I like Cam. Greg Olson's out, though. That's, like, his go-to dude. You know, Greg Olson bails him out constantly. I don't know what the hell's going on. I'm completely flummoxed by the Panthers. I think I told you before we started recording that I almost feel like the difference for them was like Josh Norman left and took all the magic with him. Like, that's the only explanation. Nothing has really changed. The team has technically gotten better since then, except for losing Josh Norman, and they are performing worse. So either Riverboat Ron is actually a terrible coach, or Cam Newton, I mean, maybe he's all in his feelings or something. I don't know. Either way, we saw the Saints go toe-to-toe with the Patriots, and it proved that Drew Brees is still going to Drew Brees. And the way the Panthers looked against the Bills, there's no fucking way they beat the Saints.
Yeah, I think Drew Brees wills them to a win here. The Panthers obviously put up more points than 9 on the Saints defense. I think that's probably going to be a
Yeah,
good
they
one.
might put up like 12 or 15.
Yeah, but I think Drew Brees is going to be able to put up like 25, 24, 27, somewhere in that range.
Yeah, he's got some records he needs to break in the next couple of years. So.
Yeah. Saints go a-marching. Pretty simple. This next one's... I'm locking this one in. I don't see any other ones that I can lock in. Actually, you know what? I'm going to wait. I'm not going to lock this one in. This one's too easy. Steelers at Bears. This one's too easy. The Bears hung in there against the Falcons, but obviously the Falcons are rusty. They came out and just beat the brakes off the Packers, especially after Jordy was there. You could tell that Rodgers was completely uncomfortable. I mean, the Steelers, despite Xavier Rhodes only giving up 28 yards on 3 catches to Antonio Brown.
Yeah, he pretty much shut down Antonio.
He's still over 200 yards this season, based on the one game he put up 182 yards on the Browns.
Right.
I mean, Antonio Brown is the truth. Le'Veon probably lost I don't know if he lost a step or something, but he hasn't looked good in these next two games. And I mean, if he's gonna need a game to like get his like mojo back, like if Stella's gonna get his groove back. Like Le'Veon's got to get his groove back here.
This is how Stella got his groove back.
Yeah, like he's got to get it growing against the Bears, because I mean you're not going to get any other gimme games on this schedule. Like,
it's going to be interesting because we always talk about the Steelers' offense, but their defense has been getting better year over year the past few years. This is kind of that tipping off point where I'm going to start wondering, like, if Glennon goes out there and just gets picked off and destroyed by the Steelers. Do the fans start calling for Mitchell Trubisky?
You got a Trubisky count going right now.
I'm telling you, man.
T-minus how many games till Trubisky's out there?
I was talking, to JD, who is a Bears fan, and he was thinking
Bear down.
He was thinking Bears go 0-4, they start Mitch. I was thinking 0-3, they start Mitch. It depends how this game goes, because the Steelers are a superior team, so they may give Glennon the benefit of the doubt on this one, but the fans, you know how Chicago fans are. Across the board.
They like their bratwurst.
Yeah, that's why I like
Chicago. Their Ditka.
Yeah.
And they like their sweaters.
And this isn't the UNC bias in me, but I think that if they lose this game and Glennon is a big part of it, then they start calling for Trubisky and they may end up rolling him out. I'm glad this isn't the game they're rolling him out, because that would just be awful for him. But the Steelers win this game. There's no question.
I mean, Trubisky's not going to be any much better against the Packers, the Packers, the Lions, or the Vikings.
No, but at least he can start getting reps in practice, because they know they're not making the playoffs. So at least they can get him out there in game time. And shit.
9.8% of these teams in 2007 have made the playoffs. The Bears have a chance. God damn you!
Bears have a 9.2% chance, but I mean, What I mean, honestly, like, I think I said this last week. We started Derek Carr's rookie year and we won like 4 games that year, but that development was important. Maybe Glennon's not your future. He's not. So if he goes out there and just shits the bed, then fuck it. Roll with Trubisky, see what you've got, because you blew the pick on him. You may as well figure it out. So
yeah,
that's neither here nor there. Like,
the infrastructure to the Raiders was completely different. I don't know if I have the faith in the infrastructure of the Bears to really go and like
letting Alshon go hurts. Like you got a rookie, you want him to at least have options because Kevin White's a bust. Kevin White's an absolute bust, and Jordan Howard can't carry that offense.
Cameron Meredith is out, so
Cam Meredith is out, so it's not the best circumstance to throw him into, and that's fair too. But as long as the Bears' O-line's not awful, so as long as your quarterback's not getting shell shocked like David Carr, then maybe
Carson Wentz, he's getting shell shocked.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lock this one in. I'm going to lock another one in later on. But Steelers all the way. The Bears don't have a chance, unfortunately. It's just they're in 2 different leagues. They're in two different echelons of teams.
I concur.
This one is going to be an interesting one. Falcons at Lions.
Like you've already made up your mind, and it's very.
The Lions don't get to be good.
It's very easy to say Falcons for all the reasons. The offense is it's great offense. Their running game is great. Their passing game is great. They've got Muhammad the Truth Sanu. Their defense is fantastic. Here's my problem with this. So last week I got screwed on the Vikings pick because Sam Bradford was ruled out with the knee swelling after we had made our picks. So Desmond Trufant was hurt. And I don't know if Desmond Trufant is going to be playing this week. Now, not that he makes that big of a difference, but he did kind of miss the Super Bowl last year, and the Falcons did sort of lose the Super Bowl. And I'm not saying that would make the difference with the Lions. The Lions aren't on the same caliber as the Patriots were last year. However, this game does have trap written on it, so I've been on the Lions hype train. I'm gambling on this pick. I'm actually going to roll with the Lions on this for my upset pick. I think Matthew Stafford is legit. I think that offense is legit. I think their defense is getting better. I think the Falcons, they've got momentum, but the Lions have momentum too. And this is one of those games that, the Lions come out and they can win this game. It's going to put the entire NFC on notice. The Lions are a contender if they come out there and they beat the Falcons. And this could literally spell the Lions winning the division. Like, they beat the Falcons here. They are padding a lead, basically, against the Packers. Even if the Packers win their game and it's a break-even, like, they're padding the lead because everyone expects them to lose, So, I'm going to trust in Matthew Stafford and the defense of the Lions at home. It might be like, 24-21, but I think the Lions win this game.
The Lions always have that comeback ability. Like that, they did it in week 1. They didn't necessarily need to do it in week 2.
8 times last year.
Yeah, but they always have that comeback ability. So, and spoiler alert, the Falcons came back on in the worst way in their last game.
Tom Brady
last
came
season.
all over their back. It was nasty.
So, that being said, there's always that chance to, don't turn this game off if the Falcons do, for whatever reason, jump out to an early lead. But I don't think this is close. I think this is 2 different teams.
If I watch a 1 o'clock game, this is the one I'm watching.
Yeah. I'm going to go with the Falcons. They're explosive in every facet of their game. Their defense is young. They play well sideline to sideline. I've called them Seattle South. I will continue to call them Seattle South. They've got Taylor Gabriel, who's got their returning punts. Tevin Coleman is still out there. He's scary fast. Mohamed Sanu, Julio Jones, Matt Ryan, Devontae Freeman. Their offensive line is arguably top 15. It could be top 10. They make holes for what Devontae Freeman needs. I think they're only going to get more comfortable in Sarkisian's offense. So I don't this is going to be a good game. It's going to be closer than what you'd expect. But the Falcons win. The Falcons win. I think they're the cream of the NFC at the moment. Unfortunately for all of us other NFC peoples.
I assure you that when the Lions win this game, I will cream.
Buccaneers at Vikings. That was another interesting one because, like, you're super high on the Vikings. I really love me some Buccaneers. So,
as of today, the most recent news that I've come across, the Bradfords. They may as well be the Bradfords after what we saw this past week. The Vikings don't see any real damage to Bradford's knee, so as long as the swelling is down, they do plan for him to be playing. So this will be very, very interesting because the Buccaneers have an above-average offense, an above-average defense. The Vikings, with Bradford healthy, seem to have an above-average offense.
I'm a Gerald McCoy fan. I watched Hard Knocks, and that man is hilarious.
I think this will be another split pick between us. But I swear to God, if I pick the Vikings and Sam Bradford doesn't play, I'm gonna lose my shit. Next week. I'm gonna go the hell off because if I have to deal with a Bradford knee every week, it's gonna piss me all the way off. But the Buccaneers, they come out, they won. It's not like they had a whole lot of competition. So I mean, whatever. But this is going to be a test for them. If Sam Bradford plays and the Buccaneers win this game, it's going to be because either Bradford is gimpy or because the Buccaneers are just the truth. That NFC South is scary, and if the Buccaneers are making the playoffs this year, they're doing it. But I don't know. The Vikings with a healthy Sam Bradford are something else. So if he's playing, there's no way that I'm giving the Buccaneers this win.
Yeah, the difference between Sam Bradford and the backup quarterback that they had come out there was just completely. It was night and day. You can assume, like, say you take the Vikings and you take Xavier Rhodes and you take Mike Evans and you just X Mike Evans out. Say he's not going to do anything in this game.
Yeah.
Who else do they have? They have Deshaun Jackson, which deep threat for the most part. Like, he has his games where he'll go like 101 or 110 for like a touchdown or something like that.
Right.
You can't necessarily count on him. Doug Martin's still out. So they're going to be starting Jacquizz Rodgers, who's more of a scat back.
Just remember that Vikings front seven is real.
Yeah, they've got some scary, scary people up there. Like I said, I mean, I've already name dropped Xavier Rose, who basically just exits out Mike Evans.
Yeah.
Like
whoever your number one receiver is, he's done.
Yeah,
Xavier Rhodes is upper echelon.
Mike Evans might not make a play in this. A good game for him would be like 4 catches, 50 or 60 yards, and a touchdown. That's a great game against Xavier Rhodes.
Yeah, exactly.
So if you can get that out of Mike Evans, and I think Mike Evans is like top 5 in the league right now.
I think that's a pretty good argument to make.
So Jameis can't go out there and make the mistakes that he normally makes because I mean he's in that like quote unquote gunslinger archetype that they have where it's like Jay Cutler, like Carson Wentz is starting to fall into that like gunslinger archetype, like Derek, who hasn't been that bad this year, but has been bad previously about interceptions. So like these younger quarterbacks are like just like to sling it, and I mean Jameis.
You see, like you've got Derek Carr wearing number 4, Dak Prescott wearing number 4. Like these guys grew up worshiping Brett Favre. Like these are the kind of guys that just want to come out there and just sling the ball.
Yeah, they want to huck it down the field, and I mean, I think that's what what the plan is going to be with them. I think this is a game that the Buccaneers have to go out and win. With Bradford's knee being all that bad, and I mean, even if he's good enough to play, I don't think he's going to be against the Saints good. I think Dalvin Cook is going to get his. Stephon Diggs was basically not heard from the Steelers defense.
Yeah.
So I think they're going to be able to put a hurting on him. Adam Thielen did basically all of nothing, even though he's more of like a Cole Beasley type of player.
I think pretty much their entire offense, though, in that game, really, wasn't much was Adam Thielen.
It did nothing.
Yeah.
I mean, even if Sam Bradford comes out there, I still think he's going to be like feeling the effects of like having a knee. And like if you have Sam Bradford come out there and not feel comfortable at all, the whole offense goes down. Like I'm more than comfortable saying that because I've seen it. It doesn't work well.
Yeah. Vikings win this game, I call him Slam Bradford. If they lose this game, I call him Sham Bradford.
Sham Bradford.
Yeah.
I have the Buccaneers going out and win this, but it's going to be close. Like it's going to come down to a couple of plays, and I think it's going to come down to whether or not Jameis Winston throws an untimely interception, because that's probably what it's gonna come down to. What's going to be the actual like difference maker in this game.
If Bradford plays and the Vikings get out to an early lead, I think that'll do it, because I think their defense will be able to handle it from there.
Yeah, if they lead by more than 10, I think it's done.
Yeah.
Texans at Patriots. This is not the lock, just so you guys know. But the Patriots will win this.
I think I know what your lock is already. I don't want you to take that from me. I think we might be picking that one.
Yeah, Texans at Patriots. Patriots come out there and win it. Like, we told you that Brady was going to be mad.
Yeah,
like, he was going to be mad. He had the game of all games currently, like, from week 2.
Now,
and he was playing Drew Brees.
I don't want to count that one because the Saints defense sucks. But when he's going to go out there and he's going to carve up the Texans defense, like, that's next on his, like, he's already pissed off because he might have secretly been thinking, this is my last season, let's go 16-0. And they took it from him week 1. Like, the Chiefs just went out there and spoiled him right away. So he's going to go, I mean, this is in Foxborough, first of all. It's Patriots at home. They're one of those teams. They win in Foxborough. If you go into Foxborough and win, you basically went up to Massachusetts and fucked Giselle and made Brady watch. Like, you don't win in Foxborough. Not with Tom Brady. Texans are going to roll up there.
The Eagles fucked Giselle Bundchen in 2014.
I mean, you know.
2015.
It's a very Philly thing to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, Philly's going to fuck your girl. Texans, Tom Savage, or whoever. Deshaun Watson, I think, is actually starting now.
Deshaun Watson's starting. I think he's the guy now.
He's the guy now. Tom Savage, obviously, is not.
He made it through a half of football.
Yeah. I don't think that Deshaun Watson's bad. I just don't think the Texans are able to prop him up on offense. Like,
the biggest play that the Texans had against the Bengals, mind you, against the Bengals was a 48-yard Deshaun Watson touchdown run. He had a couple passes back there, but he just looked terrible.
Yeah, and that's the kind of shit that the Texans really could win that way, but not against the Patriots. That's like, okay, if your number one threat on offense is going to be Deshaun Watson, Bill Belichick always finds your strength and shuts it down. I mean, what are you going to do? They're gonna have a spy on Watson the entire game. And maybe he hits DeAndre Hopkins for, and that's cool because the Patriots defense is actually looking not that great this year, but not bad enough to lose to the Texans. And the Texans aren't going to be beating up on Tom Brady that much, I don't think. So.
No,
Brian Cushing's suspended because he's too jacked.
He didn't know there were steroids in his performance-enhancing drugs.
Yeah, Patriots win this one. Let's just move on.
Yeah, Texans they're going to Texas.
Yeah.
Seahawks at Titans, kicking off the 4 o'clock games. This is one that I actually, surprisingly enough, gave the Seahawks earlier in the year, but I am not going to give it to them this year. Like, the Seahawks just look terrible. Like, that front seven from the Titans is gonna destroy them. They have no running game to speak of. They've got nothing going on the ground. Doug Baldwin is literally their only offensive weapon. Jimmy Graham can go off for a game, but he's not consistent enough for what they need to do. The Awakening isn't there. They've lost beast mode. Like, I don't know what's happening in Seattle.
Titans win this one by 2.
By 2? Oh, okay. That's rude.
Titans win this by 2 possessions.
I think the Titans run it down their throat with DeMarco and Derrick Henry.
Yeah.
This is what I was saying that they needed to do last week with the Jaguars, and they didn't necessarily win that way because Blake Bortles decided that he wanted to play hot potato with the football in the Jaguars defense.
Yeah.
But I still think the Titans will pick off or do something with Russell, and I mean, Russell can't do it all alone. It was a very similar situation to like Texans Patriots that we have with Seahawks Titans, because like really the only weapon that you have is Deshaun Watson sans DeAndre Hopkins, and the only weapon that you have for the Seahawks is Russell Wilson sans Doug Baldwin. So like, say they can shut down or like put Doug Baldwin away. Like, what are you going to do? You can blitz 5 and probably get to Russell more than 50% of the time. Yeah. If you can rush 4 and get to Russell 40% of the time, you're going to win that game.
Absolutely. And I mean, Titans' game plan is going to be simple because the Seahawks front 7 is not bad by any means, but it's not as good as the Raiders front 7, and the Titans were able to run on us. So they're going to run on the Seahawks. They're not going to need to pass, which is good for them because you don't want to have to pass on Seattle. Flat
I
out.
mean, I do think that they're going to have a good. I think that Mariota's going to have a good game, like somewhere in the range of like 240 for 2 touchdowns.
I mean, I could see him having easily 240 yards, like definitely. I think he could. I think one of those touchdowns would be rushing. I don't think he'd have two
total touchdowns. I was thinking like
yeah.
one to Delaney Walker and one to like DeMarco Murray, like both like catch and runs, not like in the end
Okay,
zones.
so yeah, maybe if you hit like DeMarco on like the flat or on like a screen or something,
Yeah.
maybe. Then yeah, I can see that happening. But I could also see Mariota running one because I mean, he saw him do it on us. Mariota ran against the Raiders.
Saw it live.
So I mean, either way, I mean, I'm not writing the Seahawks off. They're still gonna win their division. They're still gonna compete. They're gonna win. Maybe.
I mean, anybody can win the new AFC South.
Yeah. But I mean, the Titans, I think they have this one in hand, and it'll probably put the Seahawks in like a minor panic, but it's also gonna just remind the AFC that the Titans are here, and they are real.
The Titans are very real. 425, also still not my lock. Bengals at Packers.
Packers, whatever.
The Bengals look terrible. What are they doing?
Bad. I don't know. Packers with
They let
injuries.
both of their offensive linemen, like they're two of their best offensive linemen in Whitworth, their left tackle, and then one of their guards go away, just like completely just left, and like they have got nothing going. Like their best offensive play last week was like a broken play where like Andy Dalton just hucked it up into triple coverage to AJ Green, and AJ Green did that thing where he AJ Greens and just came down with it, but that was not designed at all.
I wouldn't be surprised if AJ Green asked for a trade.
I wouldn't be surprised if AJ Green goes down as like the Andre Johnston of this generation, because he is a great receiver that is just getting completely wasted up in Cincinnati.
What happens if AJ Green demands a trade and Atlanta makes an offer?
Man, don't even start doing this.
And then you got
what
AJ
if
Green
crap.
back with Mohamed Sanu, and then Sanu is like the third, I don't know, put him in the slot, and then you got fucking Julio to the left and AJ to the right. You can't stop that.
No, Eagles need to trade
AJ
for
Green is not
Green.
going to be a Bengal for much longer, and the Bengals don't win this game. Packers win this game.
Yeah, Packers go out and I think they at Lambeau. I mean, the Bengals haven't scored a touchdown they haven't scored a touchdown since like quarter 2 of week 17 last year.
Yeah.
It's been 10 plus quarters.
Yeah.
So I mean and I don't think they score against the Packers. I don't think they score an offensive touchdown against the Packers. I don't.
No.
That Packers defense was able to put a stomping on the Seahawks, and they put up a pretty good showing against the Falcons that were prolific last season. So
Yeah, I mean, even with injuries, the Packers win this game.
yeah, Lambeau, they go out and they win.
Yeah.
Chiefs 2-0, Chargers 0-2, but a very interesting 0-2. I mean, they could very easily be 1-1 or 2-0. Truthfully, I mean,
Yeah.
Young Ho Koo has, for better or worse, had a field goal blocked and then missed what was basically not a point after attempt, but it was pretty close.
Yeah, a field goal that was so short that it should have gone in.
Yeah, so I mean, this situation, actually last year, the Chiefs opened up at the Chargers and came back 18 or something like that and ended up beating them. So I mean, you think that's still back in the Chargers' minds?
I mean, yeah, the Chargers are... The thing that sucks for the
Collective
Chargers,
sigh.
the Chargers are so demoralized. They play in a 30,000-seat soccer stadium.
Okay, so we didn't do this during the Rams one, but we're going to definitely do this during the Chargers one. The USC-Texas game had a total attendance of over 85,000 people. That was more than the total attendance of both the Rams and the Chargers games.
And the Rams doubled the Chargers, and they still couldn't match the USC-Texas game. And granted, people are going to show up for USC. They weren't showing up for Texas, but still. The Coliseum seats 87, I want to say it's 87,000 roughly is the max capacity for the Coliseum. And they got more people into that Coliseum for that college game than the Rams and Chargers got combined for their games. The Chargers couldn't even sell out the 30,000-seat StubHub Center. They had 27,000 people in attendance. That's terrible. The Chargers, I don't want to say anything nice about them. The Chiefs are going to win the game. Just fuck it.
Yeah, I don't see a way. Well, there is a way. There's a way where every team wins, essentially. I mean,
A young way?
a young way that every team wins this game. But it's not going to happen. Like, the Chiefs have come out and they've put a whipping on two pretty good teams, and I think they're going to do it again this week. Like, Kareem Hunt's scary. Like, the last thing you need to give Andy Reid is a scat back, like a really good, like a really good player at running back.
Right.
So, yeah, I mean, I think the Chiefs win by.
The Chiefs are the truth. Let's just go ahead and say it. The Chiefs are a legitimate Super Bowl contender, and the Chargers, while very talented and competitive, they're just not going to win this game.
Yeah, Chiefs win by 20.
All right, are we at your lock now?
Yeah, Raiders at Redskins.
Yeah, this is my lock too. This is definitely it.
Yeah, I mean, this is one I'm locking in. The Redskins, despite going up, almost came back on the by the Rams. And the Raiders have looked fantastic. They went out and beat what I think is going to be possibly a division winner, for sure at least a wild card team in the Titans. The Redskins are lucky that they even have that win against the Rams. They got utterly destroyed by the Eagles. They're playing on Sunday night. I think they should flex a different game, truthfully, because I don't think this is even going to be close.
Yeah, there are better games that could play, but since they don't flex until after week 14.
Yeah, I mean, it's not going to happen, but I think they should.
We're stuck with this. Fortunately for me, I will be able to watch most of the. I'll probably watch the whole game because it's a Raiders game, but I'm going to be tired as hell Monday morning. But this game isn't just going to be a win, and I feel so bad because Terrell Pryor is going to have to get just annihilated by the Raiders. I just wish he was a Raider still, but Jesus Christ, we're going to go out there and we're going to beat them. I'm going to just throw out 35-13.
I would say something in the range of 35-23.
Giving a little more to the Redskins.
Yeah, the Jets were able to put up 20 on you guys. The Redskins have a better offense.
They do have a better offense, but I just
35-27 actually would probably be closer.
Man, don't put that evil on me.
Monday night game, John Gruden special, Cowboys at Cardinals, which before this might have been an interesting game, but now we've got.
Last year we would have thought it would have been a good game. This year we would have thought it would have been a blowout for the Cowboys. Now we're not even sure.
No, I do still think the Cowboys blow out the Cardinals.
I don't know if it'll be a blowout. I think the Cowboys will win this game because I don't think the front seven of the Cardinals is going to be able to contain Zeke.
I mean, that's if Zeke even comes to play. Zeke totally quit on the team.
Yeah, he just shut down on the team. It was embarrassing to watch. Like, this is the time? Are you going to do it?
There's a point at which Dak threw that pick, and he didn't even run after him.
He just stood there and watched. Yeah, we've all seen it. I mean, now granted, he was at a standstill, like, and then, like, the returner was, like, already in motion, so Zeke would have had to have, like, busted his ass to hopefully catch up to him, and he's got the speed, maybe he could have done it. But he just kind of like looked at it and was like, well, that happened, and just didn't even participate in trying to recover the ball to stop the return. Like Zeke was. And they were doing that thing that they'd like to do with Cam Newton a couple years ago where they show him pouting on the bench. They did that and he's like, There wasn't a whole bunch of this feed the Zeke bullshit like he's just eating Cinnamon Toast Crunch or whatever the fuck you feed Zeke other than a woman's face to his fist. But that being said, I don't know that the Cardinals.
No, the Cowboys win this game.
I'm just trying to think, like, could the Cardinals possibly shut down Zeke and make Dak have to throw and then that secondary actually be able to do anything? Like, it could be a thing where maybe the Cardinals come out and surprise us because the Cowboys' defense does suck, and maybe Carson Palmer remembers that he's being paid to be an NFL quarterback. But yeah, I don't see the Cardinals winning this game. And if the Cardinals do end up winning this game, then suddenly the Cowboys are in a full panic, I think.
No, Cardinals with David Johnson, it's about 50-50. I think they have a possibility of winning this game. The Cardinals without David Johnson, I don't think they have a chance of winning this game. Like, you can key on Larry Fitzgerald, and I mean, he's not even really that big of a difference maker at this moment.
Because he's just a really, really good slot receiver.
Yeah, J.J. Nelson and Jerron Brown, like, you can lock them up more than likely on the outside because they're just deep threats.
Yeah.
And that just leaves who? Carson Palmer and like Kerwin Williams / Andre Ellenting / Chris Johnson. Like it's a running back or it's a committee of running backs that are just on the edge of like having jobs in the NFL. So
I'm going to give this to the Cowboys, but mark my words: if the Cardinals win this game, the Cowboys are in a spiral.
Cowboys don't make the playoffs if they lose this game.
If Cowboys don't win this game, they don't make the playoffs.
Already a must-win game.
Yeah.
Already,
because if Philadelphia goes out and wins and Cowboys don't,
they will.
The Philadelphia has that 1-game lead already, and this is a game that the Cowboys this was a win going into the season. So if they lose this game, it's panic mode because they can't expect a wild card. I guess they could, but the NFC South is strong, so they have to beat Philadelphia for that division to guarantee their playoff ticket. So Cowboys lose this game, they're in trouble.
Yeah.
So that's it for me. But I do guess that we have a coin flip that we need to do. So you want to see if you can try to catch it?
You called it last time. So you want me to call it this time?
Yeah, you call it this time.
Okay. Heads. Heads.
Heads.
All right. So we're doing Eagles Giants. I think this one's going to be probably fairly obvious on what team I'm going to pick. But check us out on YouTube. You'll get to see the whole game in its full glorious quality there with all our hilarious and grinding commentary.
Yeah, you're gonna get a little bit of some Gruden grinder, I think.
But yeah, this will do it for week 3. Have fun watching football, and check us out. We're on YouTube at Towers Underground, at Twitter at TowersUG, and searchable as Towers Underground on your nearest and favorite podcast apps, and at Towers Underground on Facebook.
Yep, and of course you can always find all of this on towersunderground.com. So thanks, guys. We'll catch you next week.